So there are two different types of Pedro Munoz that you're going to fight. You've either got the pressure Munoz or the footwork Munoz. Footwork Munoz gets bored kind of quickly though, because he likes a fight. So you tend to get footwork Munoz for a little bit until he starts to be pressure Munoz. When he turns into pressure Munoz, then he starts to become quite hittable. And someone like O'Malley, when he's got someone walking forward, whether they're walking forward at a gradual, sensible pace like Almeida did, or walking forward at a reckless pace like Moutinho did, he's able to hit and move. I mean, his footwork against Moutinho was brilliant, like slipping and rolling off the fence and catching him with counter shots. It was the ideal opponent to show the skills and the reaction time and the movement of O'Malley. Munoz is probably not going to be that guy, but if he starts to get frustrated, he is in danger of becoming that guy. If he starts to swing for O'Malley and he's missing and he's getting frustrated, then he starts to lunge and starts to become reckless. And even under pressure, O'Malley's very good at keeping himself safe. O'Malley's shown that he can move forward striking, he can move backward striking, he can switch his stance and have the same weapons from both sides, and he can also throw one technique to set you up for the next. That's a variety of different levels of MMA striking. If I look at what Pedro Munoz does, it's far more blunt force trauma. Get myself into close range, smash your lead leg, take your mobility away, and then start hitting you with my power hooks. If you start struggling with my power hooks or your lead leg starts to buckle, you're probably going to level change, and then I've got guillotines for days. And it's worth noting that he's got an 81% takedown offense as well. So it's not like he can't defend takedowns. A lot of the time, he's chasing guillotines because he's so good at them. And if, for example, I'll just give you for instance, he's working that lead leg of O'Malley, and O'Malley does roll his ankle since he injured it. He's not quite stable on it. So if Munoz is working that lead leg and O'Malley starts to feel destabilized on that lead leg, and then he starts to back him up against the fence and starts to swarm with his hooks, which we're going to look at in a second, O'Malley might be forced to level change. He might level change out of instinct. His legs might buckle from underneath him from a shot that he takes. There's lots of different ways that he might end up in one of those guillotines. The point is, if you're Pedro Munoz, there's no reason why you can't go crashing forward, because level change, I dare you, Like, there were a couple of times when, even against Cody Garbrandt, he runs onto him, grabs a leg, and jumps onto an ankle attack at the start of the first round. He's got those skills. He can if he needs to. He can shoot in a takedown. If he doesn't get it, he can scramble and find himself a better position, attack a leg or whatever. The destabilizing of the lead leg is going to be a key, though. Regardless of which stance O'Malley's in, he's got to be working that lead leg. The downside, he's going to take shots in the process. So he's got to be certain when he's throwing those shots, and if he can put enough force into them to upset the balance, to take some of the steam off the punches that are following behind. Again, you look through their fights and you think to yourself, well, who have I seen them fight that moves a little bit like O'Malley? Well, not really anybody, but Rob Font's got really good movement. Rob Font's got good hands. He can grapple really well. He's got heavy hands. He's a dangerous individual. I'm pretty sure these two guys knew each other well. I think they might have trained together before. But anyway, Rob Font threw a lot at Munoz, and he had good defense. He was moving, he was defending, he was fighting very, very smart in this fight. Then he started to put some pressure on. He started to land some low kicks. And as he's hitting with these low kicks, again, he's committing everything to him. Big step with the lead leg, lands on the heel, whack into the leg. Even though it's just catching the foot, like it's not even really landing cleanly, it's still knocking the balance of Rob Font. But like I said, the danger is that he kind of gets very close into range. He does work behind a jab, but he is there to be hit. He does get bloodied in a lot of his fights. Look how he steps in. Look at the distance he covers with this lead foot. He really is stepping in. That's like when your coach goes, give me 10 of your hardest low kicks on the heavy bag. That's what it looks like. Like, you're not holding anything back. You're not thinking about anything coming back in your direction. Smashes with the lead leg, and then his defense is there. But again, like I said, he's going to take some shots, especially from the long arms of O'Malley. One of the reasons why I picked this fight against Rob Font to look at is because of the similarities in the way that Rob Font counters as well. He's got such long, stinging, straight punches that they were problems that Munoz had to work around in this fight. The process was work the lead leg, so Rob was less mobile, and then start swarming in with these hooks. And these really nice, double, triple shots that he throws. He's not always intending on landing the first couple. He's often throwing a handful of strikes to just make someone generally cover up. And as he's throwing 3-4 strikes where he's not really not really intending on landing too much. He finds his target to throw his power shots. Like, this is a really nice one here. And this is a really simple combination as well. It works really well in sparring, because most people, when they see you commit to something like this, like he does with his low kicks, when you see someone commit to something like this, you generally just kind of brace because you don't really know what's coming. But because they're so confident, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt that it's going to be impressive. So when he commits to a big shot like this, like wings forward, and then comes up to the head, like the first shot didn't really land too much, but it opens him up. Look how he reaches. Comes up top with that big left hook. Lovely, lovely shot. And then swarming. This is what I was talking about, closing distance by changing stance. Orthodox swings his punch, brings his foot through, switches southpaw, and then switches back to orthodox with the shot. And had he not switched his stance, he probably wouldn't have been able to get to Rob Font here. Like I said, you can get a footwork Munhoz, which is moving around and stinging and, you know, being light on his toes. You'll see it against Garbrandt. Or you can see the pressure Munhoz. This is the one that I feel like we've got to see. It's going to be a bit of a risk, same as it will be for Cannonier in the main event against Adesanya. But it's a part of the game. You've got to close that distance. And Munhoz is one of the best at closing distance with intention. And he cracks with these shots. Like, this is another good one here. Look, see what I mean? He's throwing that right hand to get Rob Font moving with the intention to be in the left hook. And this is a good left hook as well. Bang, right on the chin. And this is what I'm saying. Rob Font definitely wanted to stay up and box with him in this fight. And there were a couple of times when there was an exchange and Rob Font wanted nothing of the ground. But he's taken a big left hook. He's trapped up against the fence. Can't get away from him. What does he do? Level change. Ah, no. And look how Pedro Munoz jogs himself back. Jogs himself back. Drags his legs back underneath him so he can set up that guillotine. And Rob Font knows what's coming. Everyone who fights Pedro Munoz knows this is coming. Rolls it over and stays clamped onto him. And you get a one arm. Look how he's posted up on this arm. That's just such a boss move, that is. A one-arm guillotine from Mount. It's a horrible position for Rob Font to be in. There are very few times when you see mounted guillotines like this. I mean, the one that Jim Miller got caught in where he was biting his tongue, that was about the worst one. But this was a vicious one. You can kind of see Rob Font like panic tapping after a couple of seconds. Yeah, we'll see it from another angle. Look at this. So a good penetration with this takedown attempt here. I mean, he's practically got the takedown here, but Munhoz is able to just jog his feet back enough to get his arm wrapped around that neck. And he drops to the side and goes leg over the top. And this leg going over the top here, his intention was to stay here. Oh, there's a dot there. His intention was to stay here, throw this leg over the top and just keep him controlled into this guillotine. But because as Rob Font felt that happening, he knew this leg was on its way. So he was trying to bail out and get to the side. Because for Rob Font to alleviate the pressure of this guillotine, he needs to get his hips in this direction. If he gets trapped by this leg and that gets clamped down, then he's not moving anywhere and then he's stuck in the guillotine. Unfortunately for him, though, as he's starting to move to bail out, Munhoz just gets a heel caught on the back of his arse cheek there, just on the back of his ass. And as he falls, as he rolls back, he pulls Munhoz with him. And as Munhoz rolls through, here you can see the guillotine from the other side. So he's wrapped around like that. And Rob Font's neck is right in the middle there. Maybe not there. Maybe there. And then the other hand at the moment is like that. And he's got that grip. But the problem with this is he's struggling to bridge because he's got the arm stuck in on this side. Rob Font's arm is stuck in on here. So he lets go of that and posts. And just squeezes with that guillotine from a mounted position. Wicked. The speed he was able to put that on, that is an attack that has got to be in his mind if he's able to hurt O'Malley. He's tall, he's skinny, he's got a long neck. If he cracks him with a couple of shots or he does some damage to that leg, takes away his ability to stand and fight, maybe then he might start level changing into guillotines. It's a possibility.